All right, so this is our review of Toy Story 4. We kind of went into it with low expectations and we came out I came out a little satisfied with how much I didn't really wasn't really that interested in to begin with. So, but we're going to get Mark's initial thoughts now.
When the first one came out, it was okay. I remember it being good, but I don't even remember when that was.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, like, was that like the 90s?
Yeah, so since then, obviously, there have been two more of these movies, and I remember even less about each of those. So, the story that continued in this movie didn't really mean much to me.
Yeah.
So there was no nostalgia for me to pick up on.
Yeah.
It was just any other children's movie at this point.
Gotcha.
So, because I'm not a child and I don't have any children, it was just...
I'm glad that you said that, because I was going to say this when we were in the theater, and I was kind of thinking about this when I saw Sing earlier with the boys and Bailey. I think, like, you're gonna be so annoyed by this, but I think that my mind is transitioning into parent mind, in the sense of, like, I think I'm subconsciously getting prepared for that. And so, like, don't you feel that way with, like, being an uncle?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I do.
Why?
Because I've been waiting for that my whole life.
Hold on. I don't think I understand what that means then. Are you about to have a child?
No, my only point is...
Then how can you be a parent?
No, my mind is mentally preparing itself for that.
Is that happening in the near future?
In the next couple, some things... A bit, like, it's going to happen. I'm getting to that age where it's got to happen soon. That's all I'm saying.
It doesn't just happen. You just go get one. That's how it works.
Back to the movie, though. Like, so I think that was why I was able to get more into it, because, like, I really like doing uncle stuff and doing stuff like that. And so when I was watching Sing with them earlier, I was just like, oh, this is really nice, because I get to see their reactions, and, like, it's just really cool because I'm doing this thing with my nieces and nephews. So since I was already in that mindset from being there earlier, I kind of had the same thing when I went into Toy Story.
I don't think I disagree with that mindset. However, I don't actively seek it out. Like,
Gotcha.
If it happens, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't really want to do it.
Gotcha.
I don't want to be around them.
I know what you mean.
I think we already talked about this.
Yeah,
Children are the worst.
I think we've talked about that like 1,000 times. But yeah, so, but no, anyways, though, so that was kind of what I liked about this movie. And this has been a theme throughout all of the movies, and I kind of forgot, because like we've said, I wasn't ever too invested in this series to begin with. But I liked the confrontation. So I'm going to get into a little bit of what happened in the movie. So basically, this movie is about Woody kind of reminiscing about Andy and being hung up on Bonnie, who was the child in this movie who kind of came out of nowhere, and they never explained who she was. She had some connection to Andy because Andy gave her...
In Toy Story 3, they probably tell you who she is.
Well, you think she was in Toy Story 3?
You know the beginning, when he gives her the toy?
Yeah.
That was the end of Toy Story 3.
Oh, was it really? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, see? Glad you gave me that. But anyways, so basically this is about Andy really, really trying to keep Bonnie happy, because Woody, yes, I'm sorry. This is about Woody really trying to keep Bonnie happy, because he's still kind of holding on to that memory of Andy, and he's kind of projecting onto Bonnie, if we're being totally honest, and it's kind of not fair to her, which kind of becomes what the movie is about. He's making a lot of it more about himself than it is about the child, and he doesn't really realize that. And it's not like a horrible thing that he's doing. It's very, like, well-intentioned. It's just the other toys have to bring that to his awareness, and he has to kind of, like, deal with that towards the end of the movie. And what I really liked about that was it showed like a little bit of what a parent probably has to go through when their child is transitioning out of the home, because they kind of, I mean, not all parents, some of them are like, oh, empty nest, sweet, and some of them are like, oh, empty nest. So I think that that's for, like, the empty nesters who aren't really into it. And so it's giving that awareness of these, like, what parents go through, or what I imagine parents go through when they're starting to feel less quote unquote useful. I mean, you're not supposed to think of your parents as your things you're using, but like, I think that there are some people, and I've met people recently, and I never had this mindset before, but it was when I was training at one of my jobs. They were kind of like getting to the point of like, I don't want you to pick this up too quickly because I'm training you and I want to feel useful. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because if I were you, I would be like, pick this up as soon as possible so I can go sit down. But anyways, so basically that's all I'm saying, is like, that was kind of what Woody was kind of feeling throughout the movie. And I really liked that they made that comparison with kind of with parenting, and how important that connection is, and how important that is to the development of a child.
Again, I don't think that I necessarily disagree with anything that you just said. I just don't care. And again, because I am not in the mindset of being around children or having a nostalgic feeling about the movie, or about toys, or whatever the movie is trying to say. It just didn't do anything for me.
Just like the plot, or just the movie itself? Like,
the plot, well, again, I'm looking at it as an adult who just saw Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
The plot was terrible. It was ridiculous, and it made no sense.
But I mean, like,
it's a children's movie, so
yeah,
none of that matters.
But like, even keeping in mind with it being a children's movie, like, and like we've said, I don't know how much you remember of the other three, or if you've even seen all three of them, but was this plot line any worse or any less, like, made any less sense than the other ones?
I only remember the first one,
gotcha,
honestly. And the first one was pretty straightforward. This one, it brought a lot of other themes into it, but it all felt rushed and cartoonish. And it was just, I don't even know if the children, from the audience could even pick up on it. They padded a lot of the movie with jokes and campy jokes.
Yeah.
And loud, distracting jokes.
Yeah,
and
like the racist stuff. But we'll get into that later.
When there were poignant scenes where a message was to be delivered, they actually, like, literally dropped off everything else that was going on in the movie.
Oh, so they kind of, like, made them all into set pieces,
yeah,
and then went back and forth. Okay, that
so,
makes sense.
At the point where I was supposed to be listening to what this particular toy was saying, because each one of the messages was a monologue.
Yeah, that's true.
And, again, the background was cut out. The scene was basically just that toy isolated in the frame, and they just spoke for however many minutes.
Yeah.
And
like two little conversations.
And it was distracting, actually. Like,
yeah.
Oh, this isn't the kind of movie that we were just watching.
Yeah.
But it happens 4 times, and every time it's jarring. It's like, I don't care. And you mentioned something about the antagonist. I guess we're going to call her that.
Yeah, I was going to get to that too.
You mentioned that you liked her.
Yeah.
I didn't.
She was great, and her arc went exactly how I thought it was going to, like, to a T.
It was so dumb, though.
Really? So, okay.
And she didn't earn any of that either.
I think she did,
She hold on.
Okay.
She was a kidnapping murderer. And she deserves a child? That's what the movie says. Not only is she a kidnapping murderer, she also has 4 slaves who have no faculties. I said it right that time.
Right?
They're all mindless drones. And they just do her bidding. She is literally the worst character I've ever seen.
Okay, so that's not fair, because...
How? Why? I described to you what she is. That's not fair?
No, what you labeled her as after you described her, though. So
the worst character I've ever seen?
Yes, because the big purple teddy bear from the third movie. I know you didn't see it, but like there was a giant evil teddy bear who almost like burned them all to death. So like that was a way worse character. But still, let me talk about why I like this character, okay? Because nothing that she was doing was motivated by anything other than the fact that she wanted to be loved and wanted a child. And no, I know where you're going, so let me finish. Kanye. And so what I liked about her is that she was introduced like as this sinister force, and she has her slaves and everything, and you're just like, I see potential in you. And so you let her keep talking, and then you see she tells the story about how her voice box doesn't work, and she like asks Woody about his. So immediately you're like, okay, she's gonna.
It's before that.
Oh really? It was before that you noticed?
It was the same scene, but there's a frame where you see her looking at his drawstring in a reflection of something, and her face changes.
Oh, okay.
And then she starts talking about the voice box.
Oh, so you could see like that was what triggered her. Okay, yeah. So basically, you like her voice box doesn't work. She sees that Woody's does, and she's like she's kind of like getting a little bit of a hard on, and so and so she's like really stoked on this. And so basically you can tell that she's going to try to like tear Woody open to try to get this voice box out of him. And there's a long struggle in the movie of her trying to do that, and we're wondering whether or not it's going to happen. And the whole reason she wants to do that is because she's in this toy shop, and she has been like kind of looking at this girl who she thinks might want to adopt her at some point, if only she had the voice box to kind of spiffy herself up a little bit or whatever. And so toward the end of the movie, she finally convinces, kind of like guilts and kind of manipulates Woody into giving her the voice box, because he's just recently kind of accepted that he's useless, even though he's not. But like he's come to that conclusion of being useless, and he like agrees, like, you know what, I'm gonna give you this chance to be happy, and I'm gonna like give you this voice box, or let you take it from me. And so he does that, and she gets her voice box. And then she finally goes and gets herself in position for this girl that she's been waiting for, and the girl doesn't want her, and it's super depressing. And so then she kind of changes, and you see a vulnerable side to her, and you're just like, oh, okay, like she wasn't evil. She was just like, she was isolated. She was in solitude her whole life. She never worked. She was a defective toy from the beginning, and she's just been like sitting on a shelf her whole existence. And she's been seeing all of these other people getting all of this happiness, and she's just like there, not getting anything. And so now that's not an excuse to be a kidnapper or murderer or anything, but still, like, the fact that we got to see that, and the fact that we got to see that character development and that character growth was really awesome. And toward the end, Woody is kind of trying to help her and kind of trying to take her with them to go back to Bonnie. But they see another kid who is kind of in need. The kid's lost at the carnival, and she's like, oh, okay, she has a moment with the kid. She looks at the kid, and it's like clearly meant to be. Like, she's looking at this kid, and she's like, oh, this is what I was waiting for. It's not this Bonnie girl that they're talking about. It's like, this is a person who actually needs me, not someone that I've just been like swooning over and like watching for years. It's like, this is a person who I can see in a dire situation, and like I'm meant to kind of save this person from that situation right now. Is it still going?
Keep going.
So basically, like, she sees that she needs to kind of like go and kind of fulfill this perfect purpose, basically, and it's the purpose she's been waiting for. It just didn't play out in the way that she was expecting it to, but it probably ended up being a much better situation for her in general. And so it was nice that we got to have this antagonist who ended up having a really good backstory and having like a really good motivation for what she was doing, and she got a happy ending that wasn't quite what we expected, even though I knew it was going to go that way. And that's why I really liked her story arc. She was the only interesting thing about the movie to me. Like, I didn't care about anything that was going on with Bonnie, like, at all. Like, I liked that she made Forky, like, that was cute, but like all of it was about Woody. Like, none of the story was about Bonnie anyways. it was all just about Woody. And so the fact that we got this other separate story that was completely removed from Woody and his nonsense, like, I think that was why I really liked what happened with Gabby Gabby, who is the evil doll.
Okay. So there are 3 things that I like to address in what you just said. And Bonnie, that you just mentioned.
Yes.
The doll, Gabby,
Mm-hmm.
and Woody,
Okay.
and all their character arcs.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with Gabby because it's freshest in my mind.
Gotcha.
And it's the starkest disagreement
Okay.
with what you said. There's a bit of flawed logic that the movie tries to present, and that is every toy deserves a child.
Okay.
Why should I feel bad for this doll that was broken?
Okay.
And why does her being broken make up for her essentially kidnapping this toy for the sole purpose of luring another toy into this wherever she is so that she can rip him open and steal something that is the essence of that toy being a toy? She is going to steal what makes that toy what she's trying to be, and that is perfect or normal,
okay.
or what she believes a kid would desire. So, no, I don't think she's a good character at all.
No,
Again,
but like in terms of a bad character, I'm not saying
no.
she's a good moral character. I'm just saying
no.
Okay.
Everything that you talked about and it being positive is all negative because I am not going to feel bad for her, especially since the way she goes about achieving her goal.
Like the way that actually ends up working?
Yeah,
Okay.
She doesn't learn anything. Hold on. There is a moment where she does get Woody's voice box. And there's this moment where you think, oh, this girl that she's been pining over is finally going to take her home and be her friend.
Yeah.
And immediately, she picks up the doll, notices that, oh, she can talk. She's got Woody's voice box now.
Mm-hmm.
She has her catchphrases. And the girl looks at her like, I don't really care about this thing.
Yeah.
And throws it in a box as if it's trash.
Yeah.
Well, that is, I guess, the lesson she's supposed to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, actually, there is no lesson there.
I think okay.
Now, hold on.
Okay.
I think what the lesson tried to be is that you can want something and not get it.
Yeah, that's true. And that might have been the lesson for kids. But I think that was on, and this is probably going to prove your point more, but I think that moment was a teaching moment for Woody, actually. Like, I think that was about his character more so than hers. And it was about the fact that, like, it was kind of like comparing that to the fact that Woody was kind of feeling also useless in the way that she was. And he had to kind of, like, come to a realization of, like, oh, I need to help this girl, regardless of whether she's evil or has tried to steal from me or whatever, or did steal from me. Like, I need to help her because she's going through something.
2 things. 1, I think from Woody's point of view was a continuation of her character arc, or the one that they were trying to present to us.
Wait, what do you mean?
And that is, you always do that.
No, I wasn't
I
sure.
know.
Okay.
I'm getting there. I'm talking.
Okay. I didn't want you to continue and then for me to further not understand and then have to go back even further.
I know how to talk.
Okay.
I've been doing this for a while.
Oh my gosh.
Is it a spider? What is that? So, what the audience through Woody's eyes is now seeing is this doll who is still broken, who is still looking for a purpose, who still needs to find that thing that allows them to perform the most noblest of tasks, and that is be a friend to a child.
Yeah.
And that's something that is said a couple of times in the movie.
Yeah.
So, even though she has her voice box, even though she's pined over it, she's done some questionable things to get it. She has it now. She thought, oh, all I needed was a voice box. I'm perfect. Why doesn't this child want me? And then we as the audience say, oh, through Woody's eyes, there is still a child who would want you. You are perfect. Now that you have your voice box, that is exactly what you needed.
Oh,
except
okay.
There's just another child out there, and we're going to go find that child.
So you're basically saying is like she didn't learn anything because she still had this false belief of that thing completing her, making her desirable in the way she wanted. Right. Okay.
So, again, I don't believe that the message should be that toy deserves the love of a child.
Gotcha.
Not that that's not a good sentiment, but it just isn't realistic. Okay. And it's not okay to take any means to get to that point where you can obtain the love of a child. And it's just the ends don't justify the means is basically what I'm getting at.
I think that you're overplaying some of the bad things that she did.
Just because it's a plastic fork doesn't mean that it doesn't represent something. This is an action that she took. She kidnapped this thing, took it from where it belonged.
Did she kidnap it, or did he wander in there?
They wandered in there.
Yes.
They were trying to escape, and she kept it. And not only did she keep it, she kept it in the locked cabinet where she was, and guarded by the 4 trolls. How is that okay? You can't defend that.
No, I guess it's just like, obviously there had to be a villain in this movie, and I'm glad that they didn't leave her as a villain. It was nice that they introduced her that way, and then she grew. There's a lot of times when, Loki's horrible. And Loki he does all kinds of terrible, unforgivable things. No. The way that they left him in Endgame, he completely redeemed himself.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Did you see Endgame?
Yes.
He took the Tesseract back, and he escaped.
Before that, though. I mean, okay, in Infinity War,
Oh.
is when he redeemed himself.
Wait, what happened?
He got killed by Thanos at the beginning, but he was trying to save Thor.
No, he wasn't trying to save Thor.
No,
he was trying to save everybody.
Well, still, that's even better.
Including himself.
Still, it's great.
And we're not going to talk about that, because now that I think about it, that was terrible.
Loki did way worse stuff than this little doll did.
However, that redemption makes no sense.
Oh, you didn't agree with that redemption either?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Because
but I also really like Loki. So.
Why did he drop the Tesseract? He's holding it. He has it in his hand. And he says, by the way, we have a Hulk. And then he drops the Tesseract.
Oh, I didn't.
So that the Hulk can come in and tackle Thanos.
Gotcha.
He dropped it. Why did he drop it?
I don't remember any of that. But the point was, my point was, redemptive arcs for characters are great, and they didn't have enough time to flesh it out to the fact that she could have earned it. But, I think that their point was, okay, this girl's not evil. She's not. And, we're gonna go with that because, I get it. She kidnapped someone. Okay. But
she also mutilated
Woody. I don't think you ever saw this movie. Did you ever see How to Train Your Dragon?
No.
Okay, great series of movies. But and anyone who's listening will understand what I'm saying. That movie starts because everybody in that movie their dragon. Well, dragons attack their village and they defend themselves. I know what the movie's
about.
Okay, gotcha. So, do you know how he acquires the dragon?
No.
Okay, so the dragons are attacking his village. He attacks one. It falls out of the sky. He goes to look for it because he can't kill them because he doesn't have that in him. And he finds out that its wing is broken. And so he kind of gives it shelter and stuff. And the only way that the dragon can fly is if he's riding it, because he makes him a prosthetic part of his wing. So basically, and I've talked to you about this before. So basically, he crippled this dragon, made it so that, not necessarily on purpose, but made it so that it could only fly dependent upon him. And so the dragon had no choice really but to become his friend. And then they have this Stockholm syndrome kind of relationship until the last movie where he is set free or whatever. But that's kind of the same thing that happens in this movie. She's not really doing...
No, hold on. No. It's not the same thing at all. This dragon came to his house and tried to murder him. And then he took him out and made him... Like, this is also medieval times where you have to survive. This was a dragon. Of course he's gonna make him his pet.
No, I guess all I'm saying, though, is...
Who got redeemed in that arc? Who's the villain there?
Who's
what
the
are you
villain?
talking about?
How
are you comparing her? How are you comparing these two things?
No, my point is, like, it's not the same.
No, it's not.
It's not the same thing.
What are you talking about? I can't deal with you.
It sounded really good in my head.
Oh my goodness.
No, okay, but still, though, like, yeah. I guess we can move on from the doll, because...
Okay, the doll does not get redeemed, is the moral of this story. The doll story was terrible, is the moral of this story.
Okay, well, that is the point where we're going to disagree on, because I will concede that she was bad, she was an evil person, and she deserved nothing, but her story was
nothing
cool,
about
though.
that changes.
But her story was cool.
No, it
regardless
wasn't.
of whether she was a good person,
No,
her story was cool.
Everything about her encapsulates the fact that she didn't learn anything. Her attitude hasn't changed. And the way she believes she is entitled to things hasn't changed. And how she would go about getting those things she believes she's entitled to.
We don't know that.
hasn't changed.
We don't know that.
We don't know that it didn't
We don't know
either.
it either way. That's true. But I think you could see in her that she realized her fault.
No.
When she was sitting in the box, I think that you could see...
That's what crazy people do. They get the thing that they've been planning after, and they think that they've changed. But as soon as they lose it again, they're gonna lose it again.
They're gonna lose it again. That's great. I love that.
That's how that goes. And I'm sorry that we have to apply this logic to a children's movie, but that's just where we are.
That is so great. I didn't think of it like that. But, I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. Obviously, I'm looking at it the wrong way, I guess, with the wrong lens.
You're looking at it as someone watching Toy Story 4.
Gotcha. No, but even I'm still the type of person who gets overly analytical about this type of stuff.
I hate it.
Gotcha.
Much.
I mean, but the thing is, okay, here's what I am. I love antagonists and I love redemption arcs. So I am just willing to accept what they presented to me.
Fair
because
enough.
I thought it was beautiful.
It was
and from the second they introduced her, I was like, man, this girl's hardcore. Like, for a doll in a movie, and like a little girl doll too, she meant business. And it was great that, like, they had this little cute doll just, like, freaking about to murder people. Like, I just loved it.
You're making my point for me.
Okay. Moving on from Gabby. You had two other things?
Okay. Bonnie. I want to get to Woody later because there's a lot there, too.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with him.
There's a lot to unpack. So, you said that...
Do you have any thoughts on Bo Peep?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do Bonnie, though.
We can do all of it.
Okay.
As far as Bonnie goes, you said that a lot of this was Woody projecting onto Forky.
No, I said Woody projecting onto Bonnie because of Andy.
Yeah, but using Forky.
Yeah.
And you said that a lot of the story and a lot of the progression was about Woody and how he feels and what he's going through personally. In the background, if you're paying attention, this movie is about Bonnie. And it's about what Forky means.
Well, they're all about the kid in the background.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Even with Woody and whatever he's going through, you still are seeing Bonnie become more comfortable with things outside of herself. The environment, other children.
Yeah.
The concept of society, socializing.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when we get to a point with Bonnie, can I jump in and talk about when we first are introduced to her when she first goes to school. Can you talk about that at some point soon? Okay.
So
whenever it lends itself to what you're saying.
She is the central character of this movie, and Woody is there too. And what he's going
now is
through.
She the central character, or is it revolving around her, but Woody's still the protagonist?
What does center mean?
Yeah, but I guess I was trying to make sure
Central.
we weren't talking about protagonist and central, because those are different.
Central.
Okay, all right.
There are a lot of protagonists in this movie.
Mostly Woody, though. But anyways.
No. That's a huge... What is that?
It's fine. Oh, I thought that they were going, like, to different places.
Did she hear me?
Probably. She was like, let me stop throwing this in the air. Also, the funny thing about that is they're getting into this, like, big monster truck, like, bouncing around this, like, cute stuffed animal. I don't know, I just think it's funny.
I can't deal with this.
We need to stop making comments on the people around us while we're doing
there should stop being people around us.
No, not for their sake, but just because it's, like, in the thing.
Yeah. That's what should happen.
That's funny.
If the people want to listen... then they need to get everybody else from around
That's so funny.
Central character.
Yes. Okay.
And there are dozens of protagonists.
Okay. All right.
They're all protagonists.
Okay. They're all protagonists together.
But yes, Bonnie and learning to understand what Toy Story is about, I guess, is one of the themes throughout this movie, and that is having a companion to help you get through these difficult parts of growing up. She literally made her first friend. And as Woody was saying, Spoonie, that was Forky is to Bonnie what Woody was to Andy. And that parallels to relationships in general. She's a child. She needs to know how to develop these relationships. She needs to know what it means to have this bond with someone other than yourself. So as the movie goes along, and she's always trying to find Forky, that's basically what the movie's about, is her looking for Forky. I'd say 3 out of 4 scenes is her saying, "Where's Forky?"
Yeah.
Or Woody tossing Forky back into her purse.
Yeah, that was funny.
So having someone there for you who's always going to be there for you is what this character and what Toy Story is about. So I don't think that Woody trying to give that to her was mostly about Woody, or all about Woody, or there was definitely Bonnie's character arc playing through,
I guess,
in that as
yeah,
well.
I know what you mean. I guess what I meant by that is that was what the toys impressed upon him. That was his lesson, though, is that he wasn't actually doing it for her. He was doing it for himself, and he didn't realize it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
What else did I say? There were 3 things. Woody? Oh, Woody.
Yeah. Oh, before we go to Woody, though, since we were talking about Bonnie, I just wanted to jump in really quick and say I didn't understand why these kids didn't like her at the beginning. Like, she's adorable, and she started playing with this fork and was being super cute, and, like, she was no different than the rest. She wasn't, like, she was completely the same as those other kids. I didn't understand why they shunned her.
I don't think they shunned her for any particular reason other than she got there late.
Oh, maybe. Like, they had already clicked up.
You saw that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I guess that makes sense.
When she walks in, there's a group of 3 already talking to each other. There's 2 of them already talking to each other. Like, they had already formed their groups.
Okay. That makes a lot. I'm glad that you pointed that out, because I was thinking, like, this girl's super cute, and I feel like she would do really well with other kids.
To your point, though, it's odd that one of the teachers didn't take her over to
Oh,
one
and
of
just
the
be
other.
like, oh, it's she was just like, oh, it's okay that you're just sitting over here by yourself on the first day of school.
Right.
Like,
that's not okay at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's like, I'm glad that you pointed that out because I didn't even know
that was very odd. So yeah, that whole scene was
seriously
was weird.
though. The teacher comes up and she's like, "Oh, you created a friend because these other kids don't like you. Good for you."
Here's what's even worse about that. The teacher greets the parents and Bonnie at the door and says, "Hey," and she notices that she's really shy. "We've got a special place to put your backpack. Let's go do that. It's away from all of the other kids. They're all clicked up, having a grand old time. The most important thing we need to do is get you away from all of that. Put this book bag away."
And then I'm gonna walk away.
And coincidentally, there's an empty table. Wait, with one chair. Wait, with supplies for one person. You just do what you need to do while this is here in the area.
You know what's actually really funny about that too, or what would have been made that even funnier, is if where she put her backpack, there were no other backpacks there. That would have been so funny.
That would have been funny. Like, this is a special place. Only you know about it.
You're totally right. That the teacher literally like facilitated that whole thing. Yeah. Like she was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna have friends. I've just decided that." Like, that's awesome. Okay, now we'll go on to Woody.
I don't remember what I was gonna say, honestly. What were you saying about Woody earlier?
I was just mostly talking about how he was having trouble letting go of Andy. He was projecting onto Bonnie.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the themes throughout the entire series is purpose.
Yeah.
And Woody actually mentions this to Gabby. He says, no, it's not to Gabby, it's to Bo Peep.
Yeah.
He says, it's the only thing that I have left to do. He feels that with Andy gone, with Bonnie having Forky now, he's useless.
Yeah.
And he wants to do this one last thing so that he can feel as though he is fulfilled in this journey that he's taken.
Yeah.
With Andy and now with Bonnie moving on as well. I don't necessarily think that it has to do with parentage. There's a sense of purpose in there, but not really because of a parent-child relationship. More an individual realization of self. Like, he's a toy, but to Andy, he was much more than that. And he doesn't know how to not feel that way.
Okay.
And Bonnie doesn't see him the same way as Andy did. However, he still knows that Bonnie is going to have those experiences, and he wants to make sure that she has them.
So he's kind of like, in a sense, he's not as much making it about himself because he doesn't care if he's a part of it. He just knows someone needs to do it. Okay.
Right. And again, this goes back to the noblest thing that a toy can be, as a friend to a child. He just knows that a child, Bonnie, this child, needs a friend. He sees already that she's made that friend, but she keeps losing him. So he's trying to get that back to her so that she can have what Andy had with him. That's all that he wants. He wants to make sure that Bonnie grows up with this relationship. So when he loses, he doesn't lose it, he gives it away, his voice box, it's still almost, that isn't even the catalyst that gets Forky back to Bonnie. She somehow loses her backpack in the museum, or in that store. That just came out of nowhere. I guess they needed it, and that's fine. But why would she have put her backpack down? They went into the store to look for those toys. They leave. I don't know how long they were in there. It was long enough for her to be comfortable and put her backpack down. Just in the corner too. Just some odd place to put a backpack. Whatever. But that's the only reason that there was even a chance that she would have gotten her toy back, because she left her backpack. So
okay, this is distracting right now.
You are the worst.
No, it's just like he's screaming and I can't hear you. Like
he's singing. He's just rapping.
He needs to calm down.
See, this is what happens. you are the one that instigates all of the tangents we go on, because you get distracted by everything that's going on.
Anyways, continue.
Can't deal with you. So his feeling of purpose, the duty that he feels he needs to fulfill, that doesn't even become the thing that gets the toy back to Bonnie. It has more to do with, again, Bonnie understanding, subconsciously at least, that this friend that she made, she wants to have with her for as long as she, at her age, understands it's possible. Because she's always saying, hey, where is it? Where can we go look for it? Starts crying that she can't find it. Things that children do when they lose their toys. But with Woody, because he's given a piece of himself to Gabby, that does, however, allow him, again, to have that purpose. With his voice box, Gabby can be that friend to a child.
Yeah.
And now he's got two progenies going out, Forky and Gabby.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, have a great life, or so he believes. Again, because of his own experience with Andy. So, and all of that was to say that I don't think it necessarily had to do with a parent-child relationship, and more Woody trying to understand what it is he needs to be doing now that he's no longer a toy to a specific child.
Gotcha. So, you think a lot of what was going on with Bonnie was him trying to, lay the foundation for him possibly not being around anymore?
Right.
Okay.
Right. I mean, and he already felt that he wasn't around anymore.
Yeah.
She kept him in the closet. She didn't really play with him. She played with, what's the lady?
Jessie. Yeah.
She was more interested in playing with Jessie. She would take his sheriff's star, put it on her, and ride around on the horse.
Oh, I didn't. That was the significance of him doing that at the end. Okay.
So she didn't really see him as a toy to be played with anyway.
Yeah.
And even when she would see Forky and Woody, literally right next to each other, touching, she would still only notice Forky was there.
Yeah.
She would never pick up Woody.
Yeah.
She would only pick up Forky because that's the friend she knew. That's the friend she made. That's the one she cared about. So Woody already knew that he wasn't going to be that for her.
Yeah. Okay, well, can we talk really quick? So, because I think I'm about to ask you something that will probably support your point, but, did she get Andy and all of those toys, right before she went to school? Woody, sorry, I cannot. But, yeah, did she get all of them right before she went to school, or did she have them already?
Again, this was at the end of Toy Story 3.
Yeah, she looks like the same age as when Andy... Well, they showed it at the beginning, though. They showed Andy give her Woody.
But we don't know how much time had passed.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, because I was wondering, how much time she really had to get to know Woody before Forky was made. That's all I was getting at.
I mean, she had just as much time to get to know Woody as all of the other central characters.
Yeah, that's true, and she was... Okay, that makes sense.
So whatever time it was, she still didn't want or didn't take the time to play with Woody.
Now, I know it's 2018 and maybe this shouldn't matter, but did Woody think about the fact
what year is it?
19. Whoa. But did Woody like think maybe it's because she's a girl that she was more interested in Jessie, or like does that not matter? Because I mean, was it that was she? Because I mean, like they seemed like they were probably the same model or the same age of toy or whatever we're gonna call that. So
the movie didn't overtly say that, but it's possible.
Gotcha.
The movie didn't even hint at it. I mean, it hinted at it because she never played with him, but there were other male toys that she was playing with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. And I had that feeling when I was watching it. But again, that's okay. She wanted to play with Jessie. She didn't want to play with Woody because Jessie looks like her or more like her. Yeah, so he already had the sense that he wasn't around anymore. But he still just wanted to make sure that someone was. And that was Forky. The teddy bears, or whatever they were.
Oh, no, they're sheep, right?
Were they sheep?
With the 3 heads?
No.
Oh. What teddy bears?
The plush toys.
Oh, the racist ones.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't racist.
They were racist.
Disney was racist for putting them in there.
I don't know who would understand this, but there are these black singing crows.
And like
in Jungle Book.
Yeah.
That's what these stuffed animals were.
And don't be like, oh, like you don't know they were black. And it's like, yeah, we do, because they intentionally made them stereotypical like black people. Like
you know how black people sound.
Yeah.
You know how.
But like, I think people will probably be like, oh, well, you're just assuming that they're black. You don't even know. White people can sound like that too. And I'm just like, okay, but they're obviously trying to make them look like they're black people. Like,
so yeah, white people can sound black. But the intention of these characters is to be the stereotype of a black person.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm just explaining.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bunch of nonsense.
And like, from the second they started talking, it was racist. And I was just like,
they had no. Okay, there was one thing that they were involved in that paid off. Other than that, they had no reason to be in this movie. When they asked how they get the key.
Oh, yeah.
And then she just walked by and drops it on the thing. That was funny.
That was hilarious.
But other than that,
they actually had the same dilemma as Gabby, except they weren't bad people necessarily. But like, it was that same idea of like them feeling like they deserved to be someone's toy.
It's different. It's different because and I don't know how long they were in that situation, but they were in a situation where that was the point of them being toys.
Oh, they were supposed to be
won.
Prizes to be won, yeah. But I mean, like, Gabby was someone on a shelf to be bought. Like, she was in a store. So, like, it was the same kind of thing.
But with Gabby, there was a perceived slight that she was unfairly not picked.
Oh, the other ones were just like, it hasn't happened for us yet.
Yeah. They when they were talking to Buzz, they wanted a kid.
Yeah.
If they found a kid, they'd be grateful to have it.
Yeah.
But they understood the rules.
But they weren't like I'm going to kidnap and murder people.
We're just going to chill here until it happens. I hated everything about them.
Yeah, it was awful. Like, it was cringy, actually. Yeah. I mean, like, toward the end of the movie, they had been around long enough that I didn't care anymore, but they were still, like, annoying characters the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
So I wanted to talk about Buzz and Woody, and the fact that there was, like, no relationship there, which I guess was fine, because it wasn't supposed to be about that, but like, the whole idea of them being best friends was not in this movie until the very end. And I was just like, Buzz kind of was having like a tiny bit of his own thing going on, because he seemed like he was kind of trying to adjust to not having Woody as well. Like, I think that there was a theme of that played out throughout the story, because Woody was going so crazy that Buzz was just like, I don't know how to help you. But at the same time, like, they wanted to focus more on Woody and Bo Peep, that they kind of like didn't really elaborate on anything that was happening with Buzz. And I maybe it didn't matter. Like, maybe that's just not what they were going for. But I would have liked to see a little bit more with that.
I literally can't deal with you and your relationships between these characters. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Like, what do you?
You mean like just in this movie, or with
period.
all movies? With all movies?
Just stop it.
What are you talking about?
Like, especially insignificant ones. Like that storyline means nothing.
Fine. I
know you do, and it's ridiculous.
Okay, whatever.
Get over it.
Oh,
you can't
my
go get
gosh.
ice cream.
Okay, now, but really though, so now let's talk about the fact that realistically, I think this had to have been the last movie, right? Unless we see the great adventures of Woody and Bo Peep, but I don't think we're going to see that. And I don't care about anything that's happening without Woody there. I mean, I'm not even
Then you're missing the point of Toy Story.
No, I totally understand, like, what they're saying is, like, life goes on without Woody. Or is that what you're getting at?
Life goes on without your toy. It's not about Woody.
Well, no, but I mean,
I guess Bo Peep was gone.
I'm saying,
cared.
like, not for Bonnie, of course, like, she's happy. She didn't like Woody anyways. But I'm just saying, like, the audiences, are they going to want to go and see a Toy Story without Woody in it? Oh, okay, I didn't
because
think that.
Toy Story 1 came out like 12 years ago. We're not children anymore.
Gotcha. Well, I guess I meant, like, older people than us. Because, like, we were children when that came out. But, like, parents.
Right.
I guess it's not for them anymore.
Exactly.
So, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of just like how, like, disgusting things like Teen Titans Go are being watched because they didn't grow up with the real one. I guess that makes sense. We hate Teen Titans Go. Like,
it's the worst.
It makes me want to just, like, jump off all the buildings.
Now,
like,
if Teen Titans, the original series, had never existed,
I think I
probably
still wouldn't
hate
like
it, but not as much.
I mean, I wouldn't have anything to compare it to, and so then it would be fine, I guess. But, like, I think I would still look at that and be like, this is a stupid show. I'm not watching this.
So bad.
Also, someone was asking someone what their favorite superhero was, and I spent, like, a good, like, 20 minutes trying to figure out which one mine was, because I was thinking like Marvel, I was thinking like Justice League type stuff, and I was like, wait, duh, it's Terra. Like, I don't even know why I had to think about that. But you don't think about the Teen Titans characters as superheroes all the time, just because when you think of superheroes, you think Superman, Batman, and all that stuff. And so I was like, once I actually thought about it, because at first I was like, Starfire? And I was like, no, Terra.
Terra was pretty cool.
Which, like, everybody, when I talk about Terra, they're like, is that literally just because, like, it sounds like your name? And I'm like, no. She's a cool character who happens to have a very similar name to me. Like, but anyways, yeah, so basically what I was getting at with that is, Woody leaves with Bo Peep at the end. He kind of realizes that there is something more important to him and to Bonnie, and, like, Bonnie is going to be fine without him. All the rest of the toys are going to be fine without him. He realizes that, and he realizes that Bo Peep can be on her own. She's proved that, but she would prefer to have Woody with her, and he would prefer to be with her. And so he realizes, like, I'm just going to go do that. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to go into retirement. I'm going to play golf. It's going to be fine. And it's really cute that happens at the end, because, like, it really brings Woody's journey full circle. And, like, I think it was the best way to end it. And I think it was obvious. Like, did you know that was going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was a very obvious thing that was going to happen in this movie, like, from the start, just because of the way Woody was acting. And I think also it was fitting because this was the first movie that was, like, completely not about Andy. And so I think that it made sense for Woody to exit the story at the same time that Andy did. Because, like, I think if they do make another Toy Story, Andy doesn't need to be brought up at all. Like, he just doesn't. Especially without Woody in it. Like, there's no reason to even mention him. Even though Andy is, like, my favorite character in this whole thing, to be honest.
You started off saying something that I wanted to respond to. I don't remember now.
I was saying that Woody realized he wasn't essential. Okay. He went off with Bo Peep. Is that what it was?
Yeah. I was much more irritated when you were talking, and now I'm not anymore.
It's because my voice is just...
No, it's just that it doesn't matter.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and do scores right now, or ratings. I am going to go ahead and say, for it being the movie it was, for it being a kid's movie, and for me not being its audience, I think I'll say 8.5. It's not for me, so that's why I was saying it like...
No, the point.
Oh, the point. Oh, gotcha. I'm going to keep doing that. Like, that's how you rate movies.
No, that's not how anyone rates movies. I'll give it a 9.
Oh, okay. I wasn't being crazy then. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a children's movie. I didn't like it because I'm 30.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. That's why my score was so high. But yeah, I think for the audience that they were trying to reach, they did a good job. Like, those kids are not going to see any of the weird existential stuff that we were talking about. They're not going to see any of the weird, like, grown-up things that we were talking about. And to a certain extent, like, these movies, like Disney movies, are always kind of made for a dual audience, which is the child and the parent. And they put stuff in there that the parent either can learn from or just experience while their kid is blissfully unaware of it.
One of the last lines in the movie is Keanu Reeves' character. That
was Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
He was asking those stuffed animals if they really had laser vision.
Yeah.
And one of them awkwardly says, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Daredevil says, whoa. That's a line from a Keanu Reeves movie.
Really?
That is a meme, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That went way over my head. That's so funny. Because when that happened in this movie, I was like, that was a weird moment. Like, I didn't get that. Okay, I'm glad that meant something else. Because, I mean, it's not like I was fazed by it. I was just like, what was that?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
He says that he's like a stoner. And this was like 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And he would always just say, whoa. I said it like a normal person.
Yeah.
But he just said it like he's high all the time.
Gotcha. Oh, speaking of that, the laser thing. So they're at this like carnival or whatever. It's kind of like one of those things where you have to try to hit something and then you can win a toy or whatever. So there's a guy who's working there. He works at this carnival and he's so clearly a stoner. He was baked the whole time. And the fact that this laser beam thing happens at the end, I completely thought that was just a hallucination that this stoner guy was having. And I think that that's what they were going for. They just had to dress it up in a way. But like, they were definitely saying like, yeah, this dude's stoned because working at a carnival sucks. And I was like, probably what's happening, and it's awesome. I'm here for it. Okay. All right. Well, that was our review of Toy Story 4. I think our rating would be like an 8.7. 8.75. I'm going to go with 8.8 then.
I'm going to go with shut your mouth.
So yeah, our review's an 8.8, and we will see you probably not until Spider-Man Far From Home, which we're going to have all the things to say about that. I'm
pretty excited.
Like, that review's probably going to be like 2 hours long.
Or it won't be because I'll just die. I'll be okay with that. It was too good.
But then what if it's not? Like, because then
I'll die.
Oh, you're going to die either way.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Because you know what better not happen? They better not use Captain America to troll us at the end. Like old Captain America.
That'd be so funny.
I would be so mad. Like, I wouldn't even.
They have to do that now.
I would not allow it.
It has to be Sam Wilson.
I would not allow it. Oh my gosh. That would be the last Marvel movie I watched. Because he says, in the other one, he's like, oh, you waited so long for this thing that was disappointing or whatever. We waited so long for this movie. So I
don't think so.
Yeah, like since Civil War, Like, it's been a long time since Civil War. And that was when
What are you
Spider-Man was
talking
introduced.
Spider-Man 1 came out last year, didn't it?
I think it was the year before that.
Okay, the year before that.
Well,
So,
I think it was 2017.
the year before.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
I guess what I'm saying is, we haven't waited that long.
Yeah, but we've been waiting for, like, his franchise to really kick off since Civil War.
No. His franchise kicked off in Civil War. He had his own movie. He was in 2 Avengers movies. What else do you want?
Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff.
He's doing real.
But I think that this is like his movie though, like.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Without Tony, like this is his first real thing that he's doing.
Yeah, whatever.
Like on his own.
Sure.
That's why I'm excited for it. But
I'm excited for Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah. But I'm talking about Spider-Man.
Right, but you're talking about everything else going on around it.
Gotcha.
Making him Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's part of his journey.
No, see, there you go again.
Okay, now we're back. Now we're back to this. All right, thank you everybody, and we'll see you on July 1st.